we will all do the pledge as well. So, Reverend Penner, if you'd like to come up, thank you so much.
We just went through, one of the greatest holidays of our time, what we call Resurrection Sunday. After 24 years of higher education teaching, I know that in a group this large, there's got to be somebody here who says, I'm fired. Easter's about dresses and egg hunts and spring stuff. If you haven't, look at some good Roman records. Challenge yourself to prove to yourself that you're right. I think you're going to be amazingly surprised. You just study what actually went on. Let's pray. Our Father and our God, we thank you that we live in such a rare and beautiful community as Unicoi. Lord, you have blessed this community with a magnificent history, with men and women of integrity and wisdom, faith, and with generation after generation of faithful individuals who care about this community, who value everything that it has become. Lord, I pray tonight that you would watch over this meeting of individuals, men and women. Pray that you would give them wisdom, give them courage, give them everything they need to better the fortunes of this community. Lord, I pray that you would watch over this town council, that you would grant each of them a special portion of your wisdom and that your sensitivity, that they might continue to lead this community and enrich our values and pass on those good and godly American values that have been passed on to so many down through the years. Lord, I personally thank you for the people of Unicoi, for their goodness. I pray that you bless this council and bless every resident here and every family that's represented here tonight. Thank you, Lord, for your grace and your magnificent redemption of us through the Lord Jesus Christ, in whose name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Okay.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Ms. Kessler, would you like to call roll?
Alderman Bennett.
Here.
Alderman Radford.
Here.
Alderman Ray.
Here.
Vice Mayor Cooper.
Here.
Mayor Boyd.
Here. Okay, I had thrown out to y'all for once before, if anyone in the room would like to have citizen comment, if you would grab a card from up here, just so we know who is speaking. It helps with our minutes. Doesn't appear that anyone is going to take one of those. So why don't we move on to approval of the March 21st, 2022 BMA meeting minutes. They are in your packets, Alderman. I hope you've had time to review them. And if you are happy with those minutes, I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Kessler, call for the vote, please.
Alderman Bennett.
Yes.
Alderman Radford.
Yes.
Alderman Ray.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper.
Yes.
Mayor Boyd.
Yes. Okay, next on the agenda, we've got a couple of proclamations which are in frames here. Our first proclamation for the town of Unicoi recognizing the National Day of Prayer. I will read this quickly. Whereas the Congress of the United States in 1952 set aside the first Thursday in May as the National Day of Prayer, Whereas National Days of Prayer are an important American tradition, the first such day having been proclaimed by the Continental Congress in 1775. And whereas our nation's motto, "In God We Trust," reflects a basic recognition of the divine authority to which our nation owes homage. And whereas it was through hard work of our people, the freedom they enjoyed, and their faith in God, that America became the great nation that it is today. And whereas our forefathers were never willing to bow before tyranny, and were always willing to go down on their knees to ask for deliverance in time of trouble, or to give thanks for bountiful blessings. And whereas it is eminently fitting and proper that a day be observed in Unicoi, Tennessee, as a period when all citizens in our town may acknowledge the many blessings received and express gratitude to God for them, while recognizing the need for strengthening the religious and moral values in our county and towns. Now I, therefore Kathy Bullen, serving as mayor of the town of Unicoi, do hereby proclaim May 5th, 2022 to be a day of prayer, and encourage all citizens in our town to observe this day in ways appropriate to its importance and significance. In particular, we suggest that all observe sometime between 11:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. as the time for united prayer, joining with citizens throughout the United States in giving thanks to God and seeking guidance for the continued liberty and prosperity of this great nation. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the official seal of the county of Unicoi to be affixed on this 18th day of April 2022. That's one. Our second proclamation recognizes National Teacher Day and National Teacher Appreciation Week, which we have one of which in our midst.
She's not ignoring.
We have a teacher.
I forget I'm a teacher.
Whereas the National Education Association has designated Thursday, May 5th, 2022 as the official National Teacher Day. Whereas the National Parent Teacher Association has designated the week of May 1st through May 8th, 2022 as Teacher Appreciation Week. And whereas the citizens of the town of Unicoi wish to show their appreciation to the teachers and staff of Unicoi Elementary School for their dedication and efforts in the growth and development of children of Unicoi. I'm sorry. Next, it's time for citizens to speak. Did you have any previously submitted comments or concerns? Okay, and there being none in the room, we will move on. Our next item on the agenda is a presentation by Robert Kell, the Executive Director with the YMCA. Thank you, Mr. Company.
Officially come out, appreciate you guys so much. I just want to come out and say, hey, introduce myself. Not being from Irwin, I don't know that a lot of people know me. So I'm actually, I work with Chris Bogert at the church at Northridge. So I'm on staff there, I'm the youth pastor there. I've been a youth pastor most of my life and kind of how I grew up. My wife and I have 3 teenage boys, 18, 14, and 13, and a big, huge 150-pound dog that takes up a lot of time. So as you guys know, I'll just put a couple things here. Our mission is the wise to implement Christian values through programs that help develop a healthy body, mind, and spirit. And we do that through 3 values that we have. And right, one of those is youth development. And currently our YMCA is doing after school 108 days a year. Kids have a chance, parents can register their kids and come and be a part of an after school program where we have staff that are background check certified to help just provide one, educational and tutoring opportunities for them, but also just fun and a space for parents. And in a world where parents have to work more and more jobs and grandparents are raising kids, it just gives a lot of space there. We're available on snow days. If it snows, we get staff there as early and quickly as we can, and we're there from as best we can, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then we offer a summer program as well. So literally, we have childcare 52 weeks a year with what we're doing inside of that. And we're doing some neat programs at the YUSA office. Booths where sponsors and people in the community are coming in and showing parents opportunities for their kids to be able to engage and just be healthier. And I know that I'm trying to do that in my life, my boys, or we're trying to help them establish habits that I didn't establish when I was a kid. And so this has been a great thing to see younger kids and families doing that. The other thing we do is, but if it's for you, we would love to have you Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:30 a.m. We were just talking, maybe go have a new playground, and that's been a real neat addition as the weather's broke. Just tons of families are out there. The outdoor classroom pavilion was built during COVID. And it's been a great space. We have a lot of teens who congregate there, which gives us a chance to love on them a little bit and keep some direction going. Also gives a lot of space. We have Head Start programs using that facility for projects they're doing if their school year is closing down. So it's been a great opportunity there. And then social responsibility. I know in a world where COVID has shut everything down, we're all feeling a lot of social responsibility and what we can do. And we've been able to partner with the schools in the summer when we have our children's program. We're able to provide meals and snacks that are hot meals for the kids, and parents don't have to worry about providing that. So inside of the program, parents don't have to get up and pack breakfast and lunch and snacks, and they can get those things there. And so I told you guys I wasn't going to take long. I'm really excited about what our wives doing. I'm very appreciative, Mayor Bowman, for you, the Vice Mayor, and Alderman for letting me come and speak. And with Town of Irwin, we've been able to, like Jamie's called us up, and things have happened like the Imagination Library, they weren't able to do. They just lost Sharon, their staff, their board's a little bit older, and they were nervous and they didn't want to do the daddy-daughter dance. They called us literally about 3 weeks before, and we were able to step in and help, and had over 200 daddies and daughters, granddads, granddaughters come in and spend time at our work and do that. And so if there's ever anything we can do to help you guys serve our community, please let us know. Don't hesitate to reach out. So thank you all very much. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
And stay safe in the rain. All right. Next on the agenda is old business, the first of which is ordinance 2022-302. It is the second reading and public hearing for ordinance 2022-302, an ordinance adopting and enacting supplemental and replacement pages for the municipal code of the town of Unicoi. And just before I go any further, some of the aldermen have got their books updated.
I have three that it's updated.
Okay.
Judy and Roger and Morgan.
And the mayor has failed to bring hers in, but anyway, I will get it, I promise. So the fact that this is a public hearing, I have to bang, and I will adjourn the regular BMA meeting to open a public hearing on this topic. And I would like to give citizens an opportunity to speak. Jean's speaking, but it's to her neighbor,
I
so.
said, how do you speak on something you don't know what's in those ordinances and things? That's
Well,
all.
we're just codifying the book. We're just adding the pieces to it. They need to be added. Okay.
What we're
You know,
doing
that's
is,
correct.
all the changes that we've made in the last,
100 years.
no, in the last 10 or 15
Since
months.
it was passed,
Yeah.
the book was passed, which has been probably November or December.
Yeah,
Okay, so any ordinances that have passed that pertain to code are here, and that's what they're.
they get added. Okay. All right, any other comments? Okay, hearing none, I will close the public hearing and reopen the regular BMA session. If there is an alderman who would like to make a motion, we will move forward.
I'll make a motion for approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further conversations? Okay, Ms. Kessler, would you call for the vote, please?
Alderman Bennett?
Yes.
Alderman Radford?
Yes.
Alderman Ray?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Bullen?
Yes. Thank you. Moving on, we have ordinance 2022-303, which is a second reading and public hearing for ordinance 2022-303, an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2021-22 budget as passed by ordinance 2021-291 of the town of Unicoi. This is a second reading, and Ms. Kessler, is this related to bringing in our insurance claim money?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And if you don't have a copy, I think I put one out. If I failed to put one in your packet.
We found an insurance claim on one of our police vehicles and were reimbursed $7,800 from it, so that money comes back into the budget. And we have to do a budget amendment to accept that money back into the budget. Okay, Alderman, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Oh, what, I have a second reading, I mean, a public hearing, I'm so sorry. I adjourn the BMA meeting for another public hearing associated with this ordinance. Would anyone like to make comment? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing and adjourn the BMA session. I can't say what word to use. And we will go from there. I believe we had a motion and a second from Vice Mayor Cooper. Ms. Radford was the motion, Cooper was the second. If there's no further, did I do it backwards? No. You did the motion? I'm sorry.
I did the motion. And would you make a second motion?
No,
I'll make it.
you did it.
I didn't say that.
We will put somebody in. I'm
That's
sorry. I
okay.
thought
Put
you
me
did.
down.
Okay, I'm so
Put me
sorry.
down. I'm good.
I'm sorry. Okay, we have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Ms. Kessler, please call for the vote.
Okay, Alderman Bennett?
Yes.
Alderman Radford?
Yes.
Alderman Gray?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Fuller?
Yes. Okay, moving on, any unfinished business, there's none. We will move into some new business, and this is consideration and approval to purchase real property and engage in a contract for purchase with the city of Johnson City to purchase property located at 190 Golf Course Road in the town of Unicoi, which is approximately a 2-acre tract, and we will buy it as is. I know Vice Mayor Cooper, we have talked about, a contract has been sent to us from Johnson City, but we have not acted on that contract yet. We are discussing some studies to be done on the property, and Vice Mayor Cooper, can you update us on those studies?
Once we approve this, we have 90 days to do an environmental checks on the property. Be sure there's no chemicals or anything in the ground that would prohibit us using it as we want to. And the second thing we have to do is do a survey of it, and probably a title search and a few other things. So that's things we'll be doing within that 90-day period that we have after we approve it tonight.
So after approval tonight, Ms. Jones, we will get together and we can look at that contract and get that underway. Okay, all right. If it gets approved.
And I'll make the motion that we approve purchasing of the annex or the golf course maintenance building, whatever, for the price that they have listed,
And
$210,000.
I would like to second that.
Okay, this time I got it straight, Vice Mayor Cooper. Alderman Gray. Motion and second, any further discussion?
Well, the only thing that we had a discussion with Adam Copus was that you text him that he would pay part of that, and with the stipulation that they will do, that's also will be agreed that they will pay for.
Utilities, yes, I think once, EMS, once fire decides to house anything in there, we probably need to draw up some type of a statement or paper, that kind of says what's what and who's who, and I think you're in agreement with that.
I think once the property is purchased, we can sign some form in a local agreement stipulating the EMS pays for whatever we agree to, plus maintenance and housekeeping and things like that. Once the building is finished, we're ready to initiate operations there. So that's what we can do.
Okay, and I've spoken with, Robert Taylor as well, and he has assured me they have the trucks that would be necessary to house in that building to positively impact and reduce the fire code ratings for homeowners.
Once that building comes up to date and we can actually house seals in there, we can have ISO come in early and do a inspection. Usually they come every 4 years. Maybe we can call in to come in early to get that building noted, and as the residents soon after that, as soon as they do their part, we'll see the insurance drop on their end.
Okay. Thank you, both of you, very much for your commitment to the citizens that live out this way. I think it'll improve response times, on both regards. And, I think it's something the council wanted for a long time, so, I appreciate you both being here tonight. No further discussion. Ms. Kessler, if you call for the vote.
Alderman Bennett? Alderman Radford?
Yes.
Alderman Gray?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Bullen?
Yes. Thank you. Okay, we move on to resolution 2022-341. This is a resolution to approve Town of Unicoi essential employee premium pay. This is something that came down through, the American Rescue Plan Act, that employees that were, required to work, in their position faced with the public, during COVID, they are eligible to receive premium pay. And, most of the entities and counties around have done that for their folks. And so Ms. Kessler reached out with some advice from MTAS Financial. You also kind of surveyed what other folks had done around here. And there was a little bit of leeway, but I think we came up with something that was fairly responsible, to consider as premium pay for those folks that still needed to work and have contact with the public during the worst of some of the COVID times. So, Alderman, you've got that in your packets, what was, added in for what those employees would be getting. I think the most any employee have added to their pay was like 3,000.
Yeah, we have a list of employees in, full-time and
I
part-time.
had it. Yeah. Okay, so, they were eligible and they got paid according to the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act guideline.
Now, this has not been paid yet.
It'll be paid
The board approved it.
after the board approves them.
Yeah, it's not been paid yet. And actually, the list that you have attached to the resolution, will change, due to change in employee.
That'd be true. It was, just part of the discussion, it was part of the discussion which employees you, needed to pay or if you were going to pay, and employees that were not currently under your employment were not required to receive that pay. So we opted that anybody who wasn't currently employed did not receive that pay. So you may see some names that are missing in terms of they were employed during some of that time, but that was an option, that was a decision we made. If the board is willing to follow through,
So we are going to take two names off. Is that correct?
Yes. In the resolution, it says, in paragraph 5, whereas the town of Unicoi Board of Mayor and Alderman have recommended the allocation of approximately $25,000 from these ARPA funds, from which these premium payments may be made to full and part-time town employees who were actively employed during November 2021 through December 2021, and including present time, and who are otherwise qualified to receive payments under the guidelines of the Act.
so if the board would like to consider approving this, I'd love to entertain a motion in a second.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And there will be two names removed from that list. Okay? Okay, no further discussion. Discuss call for the vote, please.
Alderman Bennett,
Yes.
Alderman Radford,
Yes.
Alderman Rain,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Bullen.
Yes. All right, thank you. Moving on, resolution 2022-342 is a resolution that will commit our endopharmaceutical, quote unquote, baby dose settlement money to be reserved and held for the East Tennessee Recovery Center, that will be, we're the word here subsidiary, will be organized as a sub-entity of First Tennessee Development District. They will handle funds when any municipality or county commits their opioid baby doe money to this project. This is Judge Stacy Street and Judge Lisa Nidecker Rice. They did a presentation for the board, and we discussed it in our budget meeting. I was fortunate to be able to ride with those two judges, some Kingsport, Elizabeth, and Carter County, Sullivan County, some other folks, down to the governor's office to make one more physical appearance of what the support was in our district. And the governor is willing, the Department of Buildings and whatever, Department of Correction, they are willing for this entity to pay $1 a month, at least $1 a month or a year, the old Carter County Work Camp in Roan Mountain to house for long-term recovery, not 30 days at Woodridge or 30 days at any of these other places, but like talking 9, 12 months or maybe more to house, to include education, to include mental health, to include some healthcare, some other training and whatnot. Very comprehensive. These judges see the recidivism of their offenders coming just back and back and back, and they just escalate over time. They're stealing, and then it's more robbery, and it's not getting better. And yeah, Elizabeth Jones, you could probably add your 2 cents into that too. It's just jail isn't working. 30 days at these facilities isn't working, and it's only getting worse, and it's destroying families. And so this is really their heart. This is a passion of theirs. We've talked about it with the board. I probably talked about it too much because it's something I feel really passionate about too. But anyway, that all being said, if there's an alderman that would like to make a motion, I would love to entertain that.
I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, we have a motion and a second. One piece of discussion, this will reserve our baby doe settlement, which was $102,000, 102. Many of the entities in our area were getting 2 million and 3 million. I think they're only at 500. So ours is a very small portion. I don't know what their status is. I can't recall what their status is, but any entity that donates their baby doe money gets a seat on the board as well to run the operation of the place. So, any other discussion or questions, comments?
I've got a question on the resolution at the bottom. Its last word says and there's nothing else there.
Oh, it just goes on to number 2. It just goes on to number 2 on the next page.
Number 2.
Okay.
I don't mean to be negative, but my question, I think this is a great idea. I just wondered, once they've got all these funds together to open a door, how are they going to sustain it? And I don't think the public understands that. You've explained it to us, but maybe you can tell it that.
It will take approximately $1 million something to start up and to maintain, and it's going to be $1 million or so. There is an organization out there, I think they're based at Carter County right now, called Families Free. And it is an organization that is already working with addicted females that have lost their children, their families are broken up, they house them, they feed them, they do vocational training. Also, they do child care training, parenting, whatever. And the goal is to reunite, obviously, the child back with the mother. I think they're focused right now on females, but they have been able to demonstrate enough success and good outcomes they've been in operation for a number of years. That, and I won't get the organization correct, but there's a Department of Mental Health Services within the state of Tennessee, but there's this other, SAMHSA, something like that. I'm not saying that right, I don't think, but anyway, it's a bigger, a federal government funding agency. And, the director of this program has been able to secure funds through this granting agency to fund the operational expenses, and probably on an ongoing basis. So there's been a lot of, there will be more funding coming, and yearly, especially when the numbers start to demonstrate success. They'll
And I think also when you went to see Governor Lee, that opened the door for the townships will do that will give him an incentive to help also. And ours is just the starting point that we're not obligated after that out of our budget.
We are not obligated after this first contribution. That's a good point. We are not obligated anyway after this first contribution. It's one and only contribution.
If anybody's here that didn't hear the three judges speak, this is kind of like, you guys are first. And if this doesn't work, it can become a statewide or a national effort. Is that?
I mean, so they do drug courts, which is another process, and that includes a lot of, I'm kind of singing their song, but, have you been involved in the drug courts? Tell them how drug courts work.
I've had clients be involved in the drug courts, but essentially they meet, I believe it's every day of the week, 5 days a week, and it's intensive outpatient group therapy, and there's a high level of accountability to drug screening, and they'll also help connect people to resources. I believe they go above and beyond to help people.
And the judges themselves are meeting with their folks every week. I mean, they're involved on a weekly basis, investing time in these people. It really is a passion. It's really an issue of the heart for them. So, in our communities, so, yeah. Not every county has drug courts. Not every county operates with drug courts, but anyway. Okay, I'll be quiet. I think we had a motion in a second, didn't we? We were discussing. Okay, Ms. Kessler, call for the vote, please.
Alderman Bennett?
Yes.
Alderman Radford?
Yes.
Alderman Ray?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kendall?
Yes.
Mayor Bullock?
Yes. Next on the agenda, you received some documentation of a contract that was drawn up for our new city attorney, Elizabeth Jones. We need to approve this contract and her retainer fee and pay rate. And we'll make the assumption that y'all have had time to review that. Alderman, if you
Did everyone have a copy of that in your packet? Because we
There
have
were some of
one
them.
that did not. Okay, good. Okay.
Okay.
I had one question. It says that the retainer is $22.50 a month, I guess, and that includes 15 hours. So then the hourly rate, does that start at hour 1 or does that start at hour 16?
Essentially at hour 1, but the retainer would cover 15 hours of work. Oh, I see what you're saying. So
Yeah.
after that, it would be
The
that hourly
16
rate.
hours. Okay, that is all right. Just
Okay, if there is a motion to approve,
So moved.
a second.
motion and a second, thank you. Any further discussion? Ms. Kessler, call for the vote, please.
Alderman Bennett?
Yes.
Alderman Radford?
Yes.
Alderman Ray?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Bullock?
Yes. Okay, ordinance 2022-304 is consideration and approval for the first reading of an ordinance that would approve our we're amending, I'm sorry, we're still amending 21-22 as passed by 2021. First reading of an ordinance amending fiscal fiscal year. This is a separate amendment. Ms. Kessler, are you willing to describe this amendment?
Sure. This is a change in appropriation for the budget, and, what we're doing, on the ARPA funds, we're, amending the budget to include $510,370 of ARPA money, on the revenue. Governor Lee's grant, this would be the, amount that we'll spend in this fiscal year on the Governor Lee grant. And I did increase some of the budget items on wholesale liquor tax, building permits, Homeland Security grant, which was a police grant that we received, and some miscellaneous revenue that was an IRS refund, and it had to do with COVID. And offsetting expenses would include ARPA premium pay for the premium pay that you all just passed on resolution, and then to also include in ARPA 2 police vehicles, also the purchase of an annex building, emergency services annex building, which is the property that we just asked before about buying the maintenance building from the city of Johnson City. We also had in there $150,000 that were, was going to be for a water line project. And we can discuss that item, if you like. Also, to put money back into the opioid funds that were used for 2 police vehicles. This budget amendment takes care of that as well. Offset expenses for the Governor Lee grant. We also are making a budget amendment for the legal services line item. That is, it was budgeted at $30,000, and that went over budget February and March. And then to include the new city attorney fees for April, May, and June. So there's a budget amendment there. Building inspector fees, increase that, and other police equipment as well. So that's what this budget amendment does to our regular budget ordinance.
Is there a motion for approval?
Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve, with the exception of removing the $150,000 for the water line project.
We talked about that in the budget meeting.
I'm second that.
The paperwork was already done. Okay, so we have a motion and a second approval.
Who was the second?
Judy. With the exception, with the removal of that $150 for water lines.
And this premium pay on the ARPA
Yeah, it'll be
funds would
reduced
be reduced
by
due to the
$6,000.
list changing. So those numbers will change, they'll go down.
Okay, everybody.
Do we need to designate now what to do with that $150?
You don't have to, actually, when I mentioned doing the spending plan for the ARPA money, the $1,066,000 and some change, which we've talked about, it has to be done before the last week of April. I'd like to do it sometime this week. What we're doing there is just we're segregating out that whole lump of money as to where to spend it. And we have to do like a paragraph summary of where that money's going to go. So what I thought maybe we could do is maybe sometime this week, get together and kind of segregate that out into different areas so that we can submit it. It's not cast in stone. I mean, you're going to make changes. Everything's not going to, and you won't know the amounts too. If you're doing a project, you won't know the exact amount. So we don't have to talk about that right now, where you want it to go. It just depends on what you want to do. You don't have to. You don't want to.
I mean, if we're taking it out, we're going to
I
designate
think
where it goes.
balance it tonight or not.
No, what we'll do is what we don't use in this will be used in this fiscal year. And what we don't use out of that money will go into the next fiscal year, kind of crossing over.
Since we take it out, I didn't know if we needed to balance it, put it out or not.
Well, you don't need the discussion before we have our next work session this Friday.
We can talk about it at the work session, but you're really getting to the end there, and, I've just heard from other people that they're having some problems with putting it in the portal. And most people are getting assistance from First Tennessee Development District. As you remember, they're charging us if they help us with anything, a 3% fee. But they're having a lot of problems with the portal. So I don't want to wait till the end, and we're trying to get it in, and we can't, without some help, because I know that they're having to come back to different towns to try to help them.
Well, see, in one of our workshops, a couple back, we talked about allocating the annex, the emergency ambulance and fire annex, and putting the balance, set it aside for the school obligation that we voted on. So can we do that? I mean, do we need to make a motion to do that?
You don't have to, because as long as we get the spending plan into the portal, we'll be okay. We don't have to make a commitment, we're just making a commitment for this because this is what we're doing in this fiscal year. Like we went ahead and did 300,000 for the annex building. It might not be that we spend all that.
See, I know
So
you're doing audits and new budgets and.
Yeah.
So I don't know who you needed to be.
So just for an example, we'll use the 300,000 that we've got here for this building. It may not be that, it may end up being 270,000. So that 30,000 that would be layup that we didn't spend in this fiscal year would go into the next fiscal year. We'll adjust that budget as we move forward if we need to. But we do need to make a spending plan and put it in the portal for the $1,066,000.
Do we need that before Friday's meeting?
No, I just thought it would be good if we could possibly meet before then, but we could still do it at the same time. It's just that leaves us just a short period of time to get it in, and I believe we might have set up something with them to come, to help us with getting it into the portal.
Okay, we can start working on that. Shoot it out. to
And it just
everybody.
needs to be like a, a paragraph.
Shoot it out to everybody.
What are you gonna do? They're gonna give this money to the school, and they're gonna use it to do the gym, and, that sort of thing. Just summarize your projects
What we
and how much money you are estimating that it's gonna take from your funds.
Oh, if we don't save that money and they reduce that next offering, we might be in trouble.
Okay, let's move to consider, oh, I'm so sorry, we gotta vote, I'm so sorry. Ms. Kessler, call for the vote, please.
Alderman Bennett.
Yes.
Alderman Racer.
Yes.
Alderman Ray.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper.
Yes.
Mayor Boyd.
Yes. Okay, now, consideration and approval of an engagement between the County of Unicoi and Blackburn Childers and Seagull to provide 2021-22 fiscal year financial oversight and prepare a year-end and preparation of year-end financial statements and schedules. This is something ongoing that we have done, at least we've done it for 1 year. Would this be the
Well, we've
second
done
year?
it, we've done it every year.
But with
Mark
different-
Moss, Travis Bishop,
Different
Mark
organizations.
Moss, and now it's Blackburn, taking the place of that.
Okay, and this is, I think that's, well, we got a squeaky clean audit. I mean, because everything is being kept track of accurately, consistently. It was very good for us, so, would love to hear an alderman make a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all right, thank you. A motion on the second. Is there any further discussion? Ms. Kessler, call for vote, please.
Alderman Bennett.
Yes.
Alderman Racer.
Yes.
Alderman Ray.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper.
Yes.
Mayor Boyd.
Yes. Okay, and then associated with that is consideration and approval of an agreement between County Unicoi and Mickey Ellis CPA to conduct and prepare the fiscal year 21-22 audit for submission to the state of Tennessee Comptroller. And Nikki has done our audit probably for a couple of years now.
More than that.
More than that?
Yeah. So he's good when
Um,
he started, you know.
Oh, he's probably done it, maybe then came back. Okay, that's fine. He knows the town. He's good. Okay, motion, second?
I'll make a motion. Go ahead. Go ahead. Well, she did, you made the motion, I'll second.
Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please, Ms. Kessler.
Alderman Bennett,
Yes.
Alderman Radford,
Yes.
Alderman Ray,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. All right, that was a long sentence. We got through. Thank you. Okay, history committee, you wanna share what you've been up to? You wanna do it sitting down?
We had over 125 citizens, one is that she does, maybe 150,
Seems like.
young and old, right, straight up. And they all, just about everyone of them came up and says, thank you.
No.
for doing this, the kids were so pleased, the parents were pleased. And we had, a lot sign up wanting to do classes, quilting, crocheting and different things. And we've got people that wants to do that,
Mhm.
that wants to do a class. So we're just trying to get it all together. And even gardening. And, so we're trying to get the citizens using the cabin. So there's more people wanting to come out there and wanting to do things. And, the only thing is we'll just have a small charge for supplies. You know, you can't do anything.
Classes, yeah.
For the classes. And, so we want to keep everything going to the next generation so that they'll know what to do. And we hope to see it at the Strawberry Fest.
Okay, yeah, sorry that's what come up. Okay, thank you.
Oh, and we had lots of new people that has just moved in.
Oh, yeah.
And we got more people coming that's going to be moving in, and they really, really.
Enjoy having that, yeah. Good. Okay.
Now California's coming here.
Well, I'll reserve, no. Okay, planning commission.
The Town of Unicoi Planning Commission did not have a meeting on April 4th, 2022, due to lack of agenda. The Town of Unicoi Board of Zoning Appeals met on April 4th, 2022, and the new business was a consideration of a variance request for property located at 320 Golf Course Road. Property further defined by Unicoi Tax Map 008B, Group A, Parcel 015.00. The property owner, Jeff Peasy, is requesting a setback variance due to the topographic of the property. The board had discussion with town planner Asher Kane, along with the owner of the property and builder for the property. The board voted unanimously to grant the 16-foot setback variance that was requested due to property being sloping and irregular.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, everyone, there should be a Mountain Harvest Kitchen report from Brandon in your pack. And, you all got a really thorough update at the budget meeting as well. So that's a lot of information coming your way. I don't know that we have anything for parks, recreation, tourism, public relations, but I can tell you, I sat with Trish this afternoon, and there is a tremendous amount of work has been accomplished in preparation for the Strawberry Festival. There are still some big pieces that need to happen, but sponsorships are coming in. There's a lot of stuff. It's on its way. So we're going to be in good shape for Strawberry Festival. A lot of work's being done. Police Department, Jay Elliott is our interim police chief. Would you like to share with us?
We've had a busy month. This most likely is partial. It's what I could pull together, but what I have is we've had two contributing to the delinquency of minor charges. One of those is ongoing. We anticipate additional charges on that. We had one DUI, which resulted in a pursuit. The result of that was 13 charges on this individual. Charge of Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 5. We found on this person and in the vehicle. This guy was out running the neighborhood. We got off the street. Plus he was drunk. So you can think about that. One disorderly conduct. We recovered 2 runaway juveniles in the park. We've had 2 aggravated assault cases, 1 aggravated rape case. It's ongoing. We've had 2 domestic assaults, 1 reckless driving, 1 auto burglary, 1 vandalism, several shoplifting cases in Walmart. We've had 4 code violation completions where we brought that to satisfactory completions, and we've issued 20 traffic citations. So we've been busy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who'd have thought that all that was going on in the county? That's scary. Okay, thank you. All right, down to municipal court report in the packets. Do y'all want to review that? Do you feel a need to have that shared with you necessarily? What do you want? You okay to just look over it? Or is there anything you feel like you need to say? Do we have to go in? Okay. I think it does speak for itself. Then we move to the reporter's report. Ms. Kessler.
I think I updated you all last month on the striping. We're still in line. Hopefully that will be done soon. The striping for the village place out here. The Oak Drive Bridge project, that's all complete. The paving consists of Oak Drive, Fairway, and Spring Street. It's coming in about close to $70,000. The asphalt has gone from $78 a ton to $100. And we also are trying to get buckeye paved as well up to the railroad tracks. We held a grant workshop on the ARPA funds on March the 29th. And if I can get it in the paper, get it announced, maybe we can try to do something next Thursday. We'll try to do it late in the day, that way you will be able to come. Just a reminder that our amphitheater grant bid opening will be April the 25th here at 11 o'clock. The mayor of Fort Lewis and myself zoomed in before the Tennessee Rural Arts Board for an application review and questions regarding the $100,000 rural arts grant on April the 13th. And I think the mayor did excellent, and so the court, he was on there as well, and we should know by June 2022 whether or not we are going to get the grant. There were a lot of other people on there as well, so there is a competition. But I think we did really well. The Caboose project, that's still moving right along, renovation. The steps, I think, are complete. We've ordered the black railing to go around the steps and the platform. Our plans were to do the trench today, put in the wiring for the lighting around the caboose, but that didn't happen because of the rain. So hopefully that will dry out this week and we'll get that done. And the ARC Power Grant that I've mentioned several times, the reimbursement is being held up right now. So hopefully we'll get that before the end of the fiscal year. We've talked a little bit about the American Rescue money. We did get $1,066,388, so that's what we need to decide where that's all going to go. The board approved in March the BMA to give it $325,000 of the ARP money for the Unicoi County school system, specifically for renovating the Unicoi Elementary gymnasium. And let's see, March 21st, David Ellis, CPA, presented fiscal year 2021 audit to the BMA, and I officially closed the year, which I did on March 28th to complete the audit process. April the 11th, the mayor and I met with a representative of UTM Tax to begin the process of revamping our town Unicoi employee handbook. The first draft should be available for review around the end of May. That's all I have for this report.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Now, your favorite, financial report. Yes, we have a discussion of financial.
Okay, so let's see, on the balance sheet, I just added up some current cash at $1,453,000. We still have the ARPA money at $533,353, that is, at LGIP. And, the state investment pool, the Snyder endowment is still at $127,043, and then we have certificate of deposit, $114,735. That's for the general fund. The next report, the statement of revenues and expenditures. We had more going out in expenses than we had coming in revenue. Our revenue for the month of March was $164,031. Year to date is $2,069,601. Our March expenditures were $250,408. So we had a net loss of $86,377 for March. And year to date, we had expenses for $1,758,788 for net income of $310,813. We had during the month of March, the third quarter appropriations, which was $42,000. And then the other large payment that we had was the capital outlay note that we pay principal of $73,000 once a year and interest payments. And so that made up the $80,533 in the Bank of Tennessee capital outlay note. The other capital outlay note was $28,079. Turn over to the statement of expenditures for the change in fund balance for Mountain Cross Kitchen. The revenue for the month of March was $3,571, and expenses were at $6,959. And then the net income loss was $3,388. And year to date, our total revenues were $77,768, and total expenditures of $91,300, which is a year to date loss of $13,532. So if we pick up the request number 15 reimbursement, that will wipe that all out, and we'll probably end up being positive for the end of the year. And we're going back to the sales tax graphs, past that big report. Local option sales tax for the month of March was $86,622, which is down quite a bit from the previous year. So year to date for 21-22, we're at $707,129 on local option sales tax. And then our state share taxes for the month of March was $31,499, which is a little bit higher than what we had previous year, $29,471. And year to date through March, we're looking at $317,404 in state share taxes.
I think people got scared and didn't spend much money in March. The news. Everybody stayed home and they're unemployment.
Yes, sure. Everybody's keep asking me how is Black Diamond treating the town. I think, I said, well, I just see all the traffic and it looks really well, but I don't know anything about their contributions, so maybe you can enlighten us.
Actually, that is on the status report, and I can't really discuss their sales tax. It's very confidential. And, every business is considered confidential. on the Cyrus report. So actually, I agree, they're doing, from the looks of the traffic, they're doing very well, yeah.
And I think, Trish is gonna be following up with them as well about what role they will play in assisting us to sponsor something at the Strawberry Festival. They're gonna participate as a sponsor. Okay, all right, motion a second to approve financial report.
So moved.
Second.
Cooper motion, for second. Any further discussions? Okay, hearing none, Ms. Kessler, please call for a vote.
Alderman Bennett?
Yes.
Alderman Radford?
Yes.
Alderman Rowe?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes. Okay, any announcements?
Our budget workshops, April 22nd, 9 to 4. And if I can, we'll try to schedule something maybe Thursday, if that works for everybody, and try to do it late in the day. I'll have to just see if, I think we can get a notice that we're meeting. Probably won't make it in the paper, but I'll try. And then, May the 6th, we have another budget workshop, which is number 3, and we'll try to maybe change the time on that from 9 o'clock in the morning to maybe later. That's on Friday, so maybe doing it later in the afternoon. That would work for everybody on Friday.
Maybe like after lunch until the afternoon.
Yeah, or later, so that Debbie can come. She can get off at 3:30, right, Debbie?
I get out at 3.
3, okay,
I get
3:30. Okay, maybe that will try to do that.
Okay,
That way she can do that.
perfect. Perfect. On the 6th. Okay. All right, I guess that would be it. And
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
well, okay, I'll say nay, let's go.
Do you have a second?
Second?
Second.
Say
All
it.
in favor?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.